Hi, everyone. For week three's assignment on finding open education resources, I found the Open Library, and so this resource is pretty neat. And what it is, it's a library where you could browse for books that are free to use. You can borrow them for a certain amount of time. What's interesting about this site is that you're able to browse by grade. So, for example, if you had a child at home or you had students in your classroom that are grades 2 to 3, then you're able to recommend books from this website where they can use at home and borrow them at home just as long as they have an account, which you can create. And so it's also very neat because you could browse the books by reading level. So, for example, even if you have a third grade student, but they read at a lower reading level, such as kindergarten, you're still able to recommend books that are in their reading level or at their instructional level. And my first impression of this website was maybe they were going to have books that aren't as interesting, but after exploring some of the books, they have a lot of interesting books here. For example, for the lower readers or lower grade students, they have books like Thomas the Train, or for the students in upper elementary, they have the Son of Neptune and that kind of series. They also include things like Harry Potter, and so they're very the titles in this library are pretty good. They even have some books for older readers up to adults, and so this is a really cool website because it kind of mimics the an actual book and an actual library actually. So you can read the book. You could also listen to it as an audio. If you have a reader who is struggling, you could definitely uh, recommend them to listen to the book or have them read the book and then listen to it, just so they can check their reading or check for understanding. Um, but this is a really cool resource. Um, I would use this in my training module uh, so that I can recommend books or have materials that parents can use to access and have practice. At home if they're not able to purchase the books on their own or they don't have the resources. And so for this open library would be a great resource for parents and students to be getting reading practice at home, which is what my or what my project is about, reading at home and having parent involvement. Um, let's see. So the license for these books, I believe you are just a viewer. You can't redistribute them or you can't modify them, but you are able to view the book. You're able to borrow it and return it as many times as you like. Um, but as far as that goes, you can't. You can't. You're not gonna be able to sell the book or anything like that. Or use the content that's inside of the book for other things. It's just to read the book. The second, um, the second resource that I found was Freeology, and so everything on here, there are a lot of ads, but everything on here is free to use and free to distribute copies of the material that's on here. You can't modify the materials or anything that's included on here, but they have really cool or really interesting material and content for teachers. And the way that I would use this um, in my training module for assignment one would be to provide pieces of reading or even short passages of reading that parents can use to ask questions. So that's one piece of my training module is teaching parents how to use questions to guide and to check for comprehension. And so I was going through the worksheets, and I found this one on the first Earth Day, and down here it has comprehension questions already. And so I thought that this would be a great tool or a great resource for parents to use to ask those kind of questions that I'll be explaining on why they're so beneficial to reading comprehension. And what's nice about this is that they provide a key so that parents can have the answers and kind of prepare for redirecting their child if they answer a question incorrectly, or maybe or maybe don't understand the question as well as they thought they did. And so this would be a great resource for them um, to use at home. Overall, my impression of these two resources, they're both very positive. I think I have a positive impression for both of these, and the reason for that is because it looks like, and just through skimming it briefly, it looks like the resources on here are very engaging. They're not resources that are just created and without the user um, in mind, right? So you could tell that these resources have the user in mind, and therefore have really engaging materials. Like I said, Harry Potter is on here, or even the Da Vinci Code, Hunger Games, things that children would be interested in. And we know that when children are engaged, learning is better and more effective. And so for this one, my overall impression is as well. I mean, this one is great because you can find worksheets from calendars to classroom signs and coloring pages, up to reading materials, and even some math and science materials. And so overall, they're great resources to have. And again, they're free to use. They do have different licenses, but still they're free to use, and I think everyone who would use them would be benefiting from these two sources.